Peace and blessings, beautiful people. I am Ade Anifowishi, a spiritual healer, teacher, podcaster, sacred drummer, author. That's right, claiming it because it's just around the corner. A writer and a lover of humanity. And I'm going to add one more thing. I'm a deep ender. I like to go into the deep. And actually, it's funny. I think what I just want to share real quick, and I mean real quick, is something that happened for me today when I went in the deep. I'm part of a group put together, a men's group put together by an organization called Mankind Project, which started in America. So we're doing this 9-week session. I think this is the 5th week. I can't remember. It is one of those 9 weeks. And today we did something around fear. And I had a major breakthrough. You know, sometimes I hear people, or I may have even said it, that fear gets a bad rap. But I could really, today, after the breakthrough that I had, that fear gets a bad rap. And especially those of us who are positive thinkers, the spiritual ones, the light workers, and the New Agers, and even the religious people. I think people in general. You know, anything that seems negative, anything that seems like it lives in the shadow, we run from it. And we're running from the shadow, chasing the light, because we believe once we get to the light, we won't have to deal with the shadow known as fear. We see the light as love. But whatever we run from, we run to. So the fact that you're afraid of the shadow, fear, and trying to get away from it, you are resisting it. So my breakthrough today is I just saw clearly how I resist fear. When I'm working with others, I create a space, a safe space, and a graceful space. I create grace for them to experience their fear. I create grace for them to listen to the fear and get the message. And to some extent, I do it for myself. But what I realize is I haven't done it as deep enough as I need to do it for myself. And not that I'm judging myself for what I hadn't done, but I'm recognizing why I was dealing with some of the things I was dealing with back then. Right now. Fear has a bad rap. So we're trying to get away from it. We're trying not to feel it. We think something is wrong when we feel it. But yet we live in fear of some things not happening. We live in fear about our children. We live in fear about our relationship. We live in fear about our occupation, our jobs. We live in fear about the inflation. We live in fear about the cost of living. We live in fear about the political leaders of the world. We live in fear, being afraid of fear. And there's this sort of loop that we get caught up in. We did a process, and what I saw was, it's how I have made fear wrong, especially when I'm dealing with it. I even criticized myself for feeling fear or being afraid or feeling frustrated and thinking I should know better. Come on. This is what I do on a daily basis. I'm here. This is my work. I should know better. Why am I frustrated? Yet, I believe that everything belongs. Everything, everything belongs. There's nothing on this earth that needs to be removed. You can't. That needs to be vacuumed away or whatever the case may be. It all belongs because it reflects an aspect of us, an aspect of humanity, an aspect of life. It may be reflecting things we're not supposed to do. It may reflect a lesson we're supposed to pay attention to. So fear, what I saw today is fear wasn't trying to get me. More importantly, fear is not a bad thing. What I missed was when fear shows up, I journal it away sometimes, and it has helped. I pray it away. I meditate it away. See, all those things, praying it, meditation, journal, it's a practice that brings me to the now and be present. When we are present, when I'm present, there's no room for fear. Fear lives in the past or in the future. In the present moment, there is no fear. Because when you're in the present moment, you're with everything. You've made room for everything. So for me, I journal it, I meditate it, I pray it, I walk it. And I'm able to catch myself, come back to myself. But what I realized today, it's like, I need to invite fear when it shows up. It really, honestly, and truly has a message for me. It's either telling me to watch out for something or telling me to speak my truth and don't be so quiet. Don't be worried about how what I say or what I write is going to land on the other side. Speak your truth. But because when fear is present, I get so overly critical about what I'm writing, what I'm saying, because I don't want to come across as being mean. I don't want to do this. I want to come across as a caring person, a loving person, whatever. Fear has been knocking on my door, on my heart, just wanting to be my friend. Now, I don't know if you can catch this, but what I will say is, next time you find yourself feeling fearful, hopefully you can catch yourself before it becomes paralyzing. You can just stop and ask fear, what is your message? What is it? What am I resisting? What are you trying to tell me to do that I'm pushing up against? I know you're not here to take me out. In fact, you have no power over me. I am the one having the thought that's activating this fear. So, fear, you're present because of what I'm thinking about, how I'm perceiving what's happening, what I'm believing is happening. You're here because you've been passed on to me. What do I need to know? And it doesn't mean when you do that, you may still feel some kind of fear. Like, I don't know. But when you welcome it and you pay attention to it, it's a different way of being. Before this session today, I was filling in an application and they were asking some questions that activated fear. Now, I carried on and kept applying for it, but I can feel fear on my side. It's almost like I remember when I was in secondary school in Nigeria. One of the things I hated was during the exam, the teacher stands on my side and looking at what I'm doing, stands over me and looking at what I'm doing. I hated it. I want to say, get that away from me, but that was Nigeria. You better not. I won't be here today to tell you that story. It added more stress. I was anxious because I'm already struggling with the exams. My mind is now, I'm like somebody over me. What are they thinking? What are they seeing? And I'm trying to pretend I know what I'm doing, but I can't focus. Fear is a gift. Whatever it is, whether you're afraid that you might die, it's a gift. And if you sit long enough with fear, it might just say, yeah, this is it. Call people that you love and let them know how much you love them. It may be in that space, fear might be telling you, you're not dying. In fact, you've just been thinking about this happening for a long time. Now you're experiencing it and your imagination is running away with you. It doesn't have to be this way. So if I was to summarize this conversation, because I was working and it just something reminded me of it, and I just pulled my camera, I'm like, my phone, I got to record this because I need to remember for me. Whenever you find yourself experiencing some kind of fear, anxiety, discomfort, scared, especially all those feelings and emotions that we try and pray away, sing away, dance away, sex away. What's the name of Solange's song? I can hear it in my head. Did you say I tried to sex it away? Yeah, you tried to sex it away, but the emotions are just like, oh, okay, you're not ready to listen? I'll just wait here. I got eternity. Whenever that shows up, just play with it. Introduce it as a spiritual practice to see, to sit. Feel what you feel. It may be uncomfortable and more than likely, well, it's more, for me, what I find, it's more uncomfortable when I resist it. I've been dealing with that last few days as I work on my book. There's some things that have come up. Writing a book is a book of itself. Like if you're writing a book, the process of writing a book and the things that you go through, it's a book in and of itself. And working with other people. Woo-wee! Anyway, when fear shows up, create space to be with it. Court it. Take it on a date. Get to know fear. And what you're going to find out. I saw it so clearly. You actually gain access. Well, you may gain access to something that you've always wanted to know about yourself, about life, about somebody else. What you resist will keep pushing back. What you embrace moves on. Fear is your friend. Fear is my friend. I mean, I'll speak for myself. Part of the exercise, we had to look at some of the things, our deepest fears. And when we did that, we had to keep saying different fears that we have. I was just in tears because I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. And then as we continue the process on the other side, I realized the things that were my deepest fears were actually telling me about me. They're trying to show me what I can do, what is possible to keep moving forward. Don't stop. But what I did, because I felt fear, I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to stop. And sometimes when you feel fear, it means stop. Process, look around, see what is happening. Should I move forward? And tune in. And listen. Listen. Fear is good if you make friends with it. It is a horrible emotion when you're afraid of it. May you find the courage to spend some time with your fear. May you recognize that fear has no power over you, especially when you take it out on a date. I feel so energized after that session. I still do. It's been, maybe about 3 hours now, because I'm looking at things that I was once afraid of and recognizing I've been receiving information that I've been translating as fearful. So anyway, that's what I got. Longer than I thought I would be here. But fear is a good story. Fear is an invitation. And the more you do the work, the shadow work, to go inside of yourself, to spend time with your inner child. You can even look at fear as your inner child. And you are the spiritually grounded, awake parent who is always reminding that inner child, fear, that I got you. It's safe. Is your fear safe with you? Think about that for a minute. Is your fear safe with you? If you look at it from the perspective that your fear really is representing your inner child. I love and appreciate you. I'm working on my book and I'm excited to release it real soon. December 10th is the official date. Things are kind of looking, and I had some fear around that because I might have to shift it for a few more days, which I was not happy about. I was upset. I was frustrated because as I perceive it, it was because of something someone else did or didn't do. And now it's like, what if the date is different from December 10th? And the date that I do publish is going to be a few days after that. It's not going to be long. What if something is meant to happen that I can't see right now? Thank you for listening. And once again, I hope you cultivate the courage. You give yourself permission to take your fear or fears out on a date. Take one at a time. Don't take all of them because they're pretty strong. I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. Peace and blessings.